for the Arnold in Columbus. How are you feeling? Is there any pressure?
Yeah, I mean, of course there's a little bit of pressure. I mean, it's I got to get my qualifying spot done, of course, and you know, I feel good though. I'm comfortable. You know, I trained really hard for this, and I'm ready to do everything today. So I just got to go do it.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Your voice is a little spotty. Is that from nerves? Is that from your training? Are you just super excited to be here?
You know, honestly, I've been getting over a kind of a head cold, and I feel fine. But it's just for whatever reason, my voice decided today, hey, I'm not going to work. But luckily, I don't need to yell out here or talk. I just need to lift, so I'll be fine.
That's awesome. Well, best of luck to you. Thank you so much for your time, Brian.
100%.
Sean? The crowd is coming in. The energy is electric here at Santa Monica Pier. I caught up with Martins. Awesome. I love it. So last year you had a pinched nerve in your neck. How are you feeling now going into this final?
I feel really good. It's finally starting to come together. Just the last few weeks, I got my strength back. I'm ready.
That's awesome. What areas do you need to dominate to make it into the final to get it to Columbus?
Make sure I get enough calories. But my Achilles heel has been throwing, so I need to kick ass at throwing, and everything else I just got to win.
That's awesome. I like that strategy. Thank you for your time, Sean.
Up. I mean, this is just there's nothing really technically to say about this. He's done thousands of these repetitions. This is a weight he's well capable of doing. And last year he showed his pressing power still right on par at the World's Strongest Man competition, and you know, this is something that he's very schooled on.
From 2013 to 2018 at the Arnold Strongman Classic, Brian Shaw either finished first or second.
That's a stranglehold on competition. And it's a little discouraging because he just coolly comes up, oh shucks, and he nails it. He's got some fire in his belly today. I'm really excited for Brian, actually. This is an opportunity to show that he's got it and still got it.
60 seconds for Brian Shaw. 3 successful repetitions, the score to beat. Shaw taking his time, setting up for the press here. And the first one is good.
Good rep. He needs to at least get 3 to stay in the pack.
Now with an implement this heavy, when you spend that much time trying to balance it, how does that affect you for the next rep? And now the second one looks to be struggling a little bit here.
He
Brian
does.
Shaw.
He does. This is shocking.
The second one is good though.
It is. It really starts to take toll if you hold that thing too long in your chest. You want to get it up to your chest quickly. You want to set yourself and get it over your head. This will tell the tape for Brian today.
Third attempt for Brian Shaw. First of 5 events here. And
there
that is good. Brian Shaw now tied for the lead with Jerry Pritchett and Wesley Claiborne.
Come on, Brian, get that last rep. That was it.
So Shaw's done. 3 reps. That's the score to beat. 3 men have done it so far.
If he gets 4 reps, this will put him in the driver's seat because that'll put him near the bottom of the order on the next event, and he'll be able to gauge his competition. His handler there, great guy, strong man. They train together. And there's nothing to tell him. Just say, get out there. Let's go. Come on. Crank it up. Martins' mental strength is the best part of his game. He comes physically ready. Let's see how this shoulder holds up.
60 seconds from Martins Licis' first attempt. First one good for Martins Licis.
That looked great. A little wobbly on the first rep.
Right to work now on attempt number 2.
Whoa, there he goes.
2 for Martins Licis.
That was mental. That was his will. He didn't dump that. He just stayed under it. He's got to get this rep. He's got to stay in this pack.
This would tie him for the lead if he hits this lift. 3 for Martins Licis.
Rep. Best rep.
16 seconds to go. He's going to have to hurry now to take the outright lead in event number 1.
This will put him in the driver's seat. Does he have it? It's up.
Licis just can't quite lock it out, but he is tied for the lead in this event. The man that he is schooling with, Brian Shaw, also had 3. So far, no harm done to either one of those individuals.
No, and I think Jerry probably was a little disappointed to start off with. I know he probably wanted more like 4 or 5 reps, but that's really holding water right now.
And Martins looked like he was a little faster with that log up to his chest.
Yes, he was, and I think being a little bit shaky, great pushing back. He was a little bit shaky when he got that first rep up. You also warm up on a different implement, so it's a little bit rounder, a little bit more narrow, and you have to gauge yourself. So that's why you're seeing better second reps out of the guys getting 3. And that was mental right there, just to stay underneath that. America's strongest man. You know, a lot of people are saying, where's Trey Williams? You know, where's Trey? Trey's not here, and that's why. So this man actually was able to come up and win that event. So he's underrated because we didn't really talk about America's Strongest Man that much, but in my mind, he's got the pedigree and really belongs here.
Brian Shaw would love to chase down Jean-Francois Caron's time of 14.62 seconds and move himself closer to the top of the overall leaderboard here.
This is where I expect both Brian and Martins to start to show their mettle. High pressure event, an event they've done a million times with a lot of weight.
Brian Shaw will be on the left, and it's Claiborne on the right.
It's getting a little bit warm here today, Sean.
The sun is out. There's a bit of a breeze cooling things down, but on that competition floor, there is no shade.
You're a big man and you're working hard. It's pretty tough.
Claiborne and Shaw look like they are ready.
Massive weights.
It's the 5th heat. And we are underway. Both men no problem getting those things lifted up. And there goes Brian Shaw. Claiborne already has it down. Shaw's across for his first length, and he will make the turn. He is behind JF Caron's pace, but Shaw is now trying to chase down Jerry Pritchett's time. Pritchett looks like he's going to stay in second. Brian Shaw.
Oh, that was a tough drop.
Is going to be close to Eddie Williams, but it looks like he got in ahead of him. So Brian Shaw, unofficially 3rd place now in this event. Got to wait.
This is where I expect to see Martins just come on. He's going to put his stranglehold on this competition with this event.
So Licis obviously would love the time to beat, because that would go a long way towards putting him atop the overall leaderboard. But if he can beat Brian Shaw, he'll start to get a little distance between the two of them. Rob Kearney, very impressive in event number 1. One of 2 men to lift that Slater log 4 times.
With a strength endurance event like this, I have to ask, how much does Rob want this? He's already qualified. He's not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize his chances.
And we are underway, and Martins Licis sprinting down the floor. First length is done, makes the turn in about 8 seconds. Licis on his way back. And Martins Licis may have just beaten JF Caron. We'll have to wait for the official time, and it looks like Martins Licis was in at about 13 and change.
That's exactly what I think we were talking about.
Rob Kearney is still working, but Martins Licis, with 1 heat left, is staring at an event win here. When he final man in event 3. 50 pounds, no doubt. 60 pounds is over. 70 pounds. Boudreau is ripping through this. 75, and he's tied for the lead, and he's got 40 seconds to go for 80. And Boudreau knocks it off the crossbar, but plenty of time.
But he did do it faster than Brian did.
So the tie break is going to go to Boudreau. 80 pounds is short.
We want to see this.
20 seconds for Maxime Boudreau, who, if you blinked, you missed the first 4 bags. 80 pounds almost. Boudreau is done, so he will at least tie we are down to the top two. Martins Licis underway. This is a huge event for him as he looks to keep Maxime Boudreau within striking distance. 50 pounds is over. Right to work at 60 pounds for the Dragon. 60 pounds is good.
He's not even moving them. He's not even moving the bags that much. He's just coming up and popping it.
70 pounds underneath, and now he's going to waste time having to go and retrieve that thing.
But a third bag would be really terrific for him because it would keep him in the top positions.
Here's the second attempt for Licis at 70 pounds, and that one's under as well.
Well, this was the event we thought would be the keyhole that he had to get himself through.
Asking the judge how much time he has left, so Licis is looking like he just wants to make sure he gets through 70 pounds. And Martins just doesn't look like it's going to happen.
He's not dropping his hips at all. He's just using all lower back. His legs are almost straight.
So Licis knows that he's got to have a strong performance in this event, and he's only going to get through 60 pounds.
A huge space between himself and the other athletes, and find himself right up in the top 2 or 3 guys. And that's striking distance with 2 events to go.
Shaw getting set. No one has gotten farther than the 70-pound bag, and that was Ronald Heinle. Brian Shaw just testing the heft on each bag here as he gets his hands set.
What he's really doing is getting the sand to balance so that it doesn't come off his hands unbalanced. And if you do, and if that happens, see how he just kind of is shifting the weight just a little bit so that it doesn't have a left to right or right to left tilt with that. So it goes straight up and straight back.
Shaw's just about ready.
Now look, see how he very precisely he's got himself. He knows exactly where he's going to stand for each one of these.
Shaw goes to work on the 50-pound bag. And no problem there.
He understands that accuracy is the key here. He's got the power. Oh, no.
60-pound.
Tough. He's got it.
He's not going to make it, but
got tons of height.
He's got a dial in the accuracy. There he goes. 60 pounds is over, and now to the 70-pound bag, looking to tie Ronald Heinle. And 70 with ease, now to 75. So Brian Shaw looks to take the lead now in this event if he can clear this bag.
And he really needs to speed up. He's got to finish all of these bags. He really needs to.
75 is over. He's got 15 seconds to go to get through 80. So Brian Shaw looking to become the first man to finish this event inside the 60-second window.
Crucial.
80 pounds. And it will just be short for Brian Shaw. But he gets through 75 pounds, and Brian Shaw is your leader in this event. He was the 8th man to go. We have 5 left.
And again, he just jumped ahead of 7 other athletes, and that creates space. And so these points,
it's a huge success. And when we talk about success, there's so many different levels. And it's successful from a sports point of view. The guys that are competing here and the women that are competing here today, if it's the world's strongest man and women, if it is the strongest firefighters, they all having a great time, and they think this is fantastic. They can show off what their strength is and the kind of brilliance that they show there on the stage. And from our point of view as a promoter, it's great because the audience loves what they see. They are glued here. They stay here for hours to watch it from the first event on to the last event, to the last discipline and lift. So it is really fantastic. And we are kind of like selling also that sports is for everybody. So we have
the best chance right now of tracking down Maxime Boudreau, and Margot Alvarez spoke with the Dragon earlier.
Thanks, Sean. We have 2 events down. Going to the 3rd event, how are you feeling?
So the 3rd event, I know Max Bordeaux is incredible at this next event. I just need him to make sure I get somewhere in the midfield or in the top third field, so that way his and my points don't get too far ahead. Then I'm going to need to close in and finish by winning the last 2 events, which are my best events. I got this. Focus forward.
So with your training leading up to this event, is that something you focus on, those last 2 events? Are you prepared as much as you can physically, mentally for it?
You bet I am prepared. Those are my best 2 events, so I'm excited. I just need to make sure I do well in this next one to make sure that I'm right there, and then I could pass them right at the end.
Perfect. Thank you, Martins. Back to you.
Seven reps from Jerry Pritchett is your top score, and it was Rob Kearney who put up 6 for second place right now. Licis is going to be on the left, and it's Claiborne on the right.
Well, the time is now for Martins. He's got to put his foot on this gas pedal. He's got 60 seconds. He's got to hit at least 8 repetitions to surpass Jerry.
The clock has started, and Licis has 1. Now 2. So good pace early on here for Martins Licis. He's through 3. That's 4. Now 5 for Licis. That's 6, and we are just about at the halfway point. And Claiborne struggling through a rep. So 7 for Licis right now. So he's tied with Pritchett. This would give him the lead.
There you go. Finish up. Finish up. There you go.
So 8 for Martins Licis, and he is your new leader.
8. Wow. I'm a little surprised these guys aren't closer to 10, however. It's been a long day.
So Martins Licis with what looked like 8 good reps, unofficially.
Fairly narrow foot stance, but again, really super efficient, doesn't waste 1 inch pulling that bar up. And he paced himself, and he knew who he was in this event. So he didn't push it too fast early on and get overexcited, and hits that last rep up.
Guy's better on this face of the earth than Brian Shaw.
Also a world record holder in the past in the deadlift, over 1,000-pound deadlift. He actually deadlifted 1,025 in training, but again, this is for repetitions. And quite frankly, I just don't know where Boudreau is, Maxime is with the deadlift, but we just got that information that he's been training with Magnus, so I bet you he's got a pretty good deadlift going.
Boudreau is on the left, Shaw is on the right. The score to beat belongs to Ronald Heinle, 9 reps.
Really wide hand placement, but Brian's a giant, 6'8", super wide hips. He's going to use that to his advantage.
And the time has begun. Shaw has 1 down. Boudreau slowly gets 1 down. Shaw with 2. That's 3 for Brian Shaw.
Brian's on pace, he's doing well.
And now 2 for Boudreau, and he's going to bow out. So Shaw continues. I believe that's 5. That's 6. So Brian Shaw with every rep is closing the gap between himself and Maxime Boudreau. 7 for Shaw.
The crowd's starting to stand up, they feel it.
This will be 8 unofficially for Brian Shaw. 10 seconds to go.
Wow.
And Shaw is done.
Great effort.
So Boudreau with 2 is.
Guys, I'm here with Brian on the floor. You finished that 4th event with 8 reps. Are you happy with that? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm having a little bit of a hard time breathing, but got to fight through. Got to make it happen. I would have loved to put 1 more up, but you know, it puts me in a good spot going into the last event.
And speaking of that last event, you're on the line. What do you need to do to execute to reach your goal?
I mean, I just have to bring it. You know, that's a really good event for me. I'm big and strong. I just got to move with those bags really quickly and get it done.
Well, we're wishing you the best. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Overall, 39 points. He is 4.5 back of Maxime Boudreau. JF Caron's time, 52.44 seconds. The only man to finish inside the 60-second time cap. Heinle and Licis are ready. Clock has started. The Licis in a hurry with 300 pounds. He'll be first to the bar. Heinle about a second behind him. Licis back to 350.
These guys act like they want to qualify.
Here comes Martins Licis with 350, and he'll get that over the bar no problem. And he's putting some distance between himself and Heinle. Licis for 400. Has it in his lap. Martins Licis making his way towards the bar.
Here he comes.
And the Dragon breathing fire in event 5. 32 seconds unofficially for Martins Licis.
Unbelievable effort.
Rano Heinle finishing as well. So Heinle is going to be in second place in this event right now. But Rano Heinle really had to beat Licis in this event to have a solid chance of getting into the top 3. But man, Martins Licis showing off that engine here. And setting the new time to beat, around 32 seconds unofficially. We'll wait for his official time, but he is your new event.
This is for all the marbles. This is it. This is what we were waiting for.
So Brian Shaw, second place overall, 3.5 points back of the man he is paired with in this heat.
Everybody is on their feet.
So 32.84 seconds is the top time. Now, Rano Heinle was right behind Martins Licis' time of 32.84, so he could factor in here as well. But Brian Shaw needs to beat Maxime Boudreau by 4 spots in this event in order to pass him on the leaderboard here.
That's a tall order. Brian would have to win and win convincingly. But also, too, it's just, where does Boudreau place? But those last 2 men actually had great times, a little over 30 seconds. So if he doesn't beat those 2 guys, half point for Brian. But Brian's got to win.
Maxime Boudreau getting ready here.
Great sportsmanship. Guys wishing each other luck. Maxime's got to feel great. Look at him. He's at the last event at the Arnold, head-to-head with Shaw, trying to get a place in the high altar of strength, which is the Arnold Strongman Classic. He's got to feel great about today no matter what, but he wants to win.
Both of these men have to win this competition to get to Columbus, Ohio. Final heat of the final event here at the Arnold Strongman USA in Santa Monica. As Maxime Boudreau can make his first ever appearance at the Arnold Strongman Classic if he can win this event.
Boudreau did really great with the farmer's walk, but this is different. This is up on your chest. Back strength does play in this event.
Who's going to Ohio? Final heat of the final event, and both Shaw and Boudreau off to a quick start. Boudreau back to the 350-pound bag first. Shaw right there with him, but Boudreau has the lead.
It's close.
And Shaw
this
has closed the gap. 400 pounds, 32.84 seconds. That's the time to beat. Shaw has the bag picked up. Boudreau struggling. Shaw now has the lead. So Brian Shaw not going to win the event, but now let's see what Boudreau does. So Brian Shaw trying to get that bag over the bar. Once he does, the time will stop. So Brian Shaw looking like he's going to finish in the top 3 here. Maxime Boudreau is now struggling. So Boudreau can't get the bag over the bar. So we're going to have to see how this shakes out.
Where is this? So Brian is 3 points ahead, is just 1 point ahead of Martins.
Brian Shaw needed to beat Maxime Boudreau by 4 spots in this event to close the gap.
The fact that Boudreau did not get that bag over the bar means that everybody who did, including Caron, Heinle, and Licis, that's 4 points. But
so one more look at how just close this was. Brian Shaw was trailing until the final bag, and then was able to get to the bar. The clock that we had on the screen, that was unofficial, so keep that in mind too. So a lot needs to be sorted out here. But we do know that Brian Shaw gets that bag over the bar ahead of Maxime Boudreau. Remember the times of Martins Licis?
I'm here with Martins, event winner for event 5. How do you feel?
I feel good, but we'll find out if I feel good enough. That was a hell of an effort to end it. I hope it was enough. Goodness, I'm on, you know, I can hardly contain myself waiting.
All the energy. You finished with 32.84 seconds. What was your strategy going into that?
To win it, ultimately I trained this event more than any because the finishing event is the most important event to be proficient at, no matter how tired you are. So I trained the hell out of this one. It worked out. I won this event. Now I'm crossing my fingers that was enough to seal the deal, but it's so close right now. It's impossible to tell.
It is. We're on a very close tie. You did amazing. Let's stay tuned to see who is going to finish at the top.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Margot, and congratulations to Martins Licis for winning that event.
Question, Brian wasn't quite fast enough. Martins got it straight over the bar. Martins, the repeat champion that came out of the final round. How good did it feel to hoist this trophy once again?
I'm a bit tired, but wow, what a contest! By the teeth! Can't believe it, what a fight. And Max, I've never thought he would be such a beast. Wow! Great competition. Thank you so much.
I just want to ask you a question. Which of the lifts were you the most disappointed about that you did today?
I worked the throwing like crazy. I wanted to get it to be one of my best events. It's still one of my worst events, but it's still getting better.
And which one was your favorite where you said, I actually surprised myself?
Well, going into this medley, when I was practicing the bags in the back, I could hardly pick the 350 because everything was hurting so much, and I was so tired. So the adrenaline turned on, and I got it. I got it done.
Well, last year said, I'll be back. What do you say this year?
I'll be back.
Give it up for your champion, Martins Licis. And one more time for all the competitors you saw today. Blood, sweat, and tears in this competition. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the Arnold Strongman US. For John Anderson and Derek Carver, I'm Matt Eisman. Thank you guys. We will see you back here next year. In the meantime, we will see you in Columbus.
For the second straight year, Martins Licis wins the Arnold Strongman USA. He does it in dramatic fashion here, coming down to the final event, the event that you